Aromie here. Welcome back to our life, beginnings, and always. We are here going into talks. Another placid summer day was drifting by. Your daydreams were chasing each other, none sticking around long enough to become a firm plan. But you really didn't mind that right now. A tapping worked its way into those dreams. Focusing more, you realized it was coming from your window. A grin popped on your face as though it had been waiting all day for this moment. Heading to the window, you could see Cove outside. His habit of climbing this way really was a true Coveism. He'd rather scale your house than wait a couple extra minutes for you to come down. You stood aside to give him space. You held a hand out to him. Let's hold a hand out. You offered Cove a hand to help him. Once he was mostly inside, he took it to help steady the last bit of his entrance. Though considering how many times he'd done this, he'd hardly needed the help.
Hey.
Oh, hi. Sup? Welcome home. You think my mom should invest in some bigger windows? Cove laughed at that and took one last look at his exclusive entrance. He hummed with a teasing look on his face. It'd make my life easier, that's for sure. Cove's voice came out quietly with a strangely pleased smile on his face. Did something happen? Cove opened his mouth to answer, only to have your phone ring and cut him off. You both turned to where it rested a little further up on your bed. It was still face down, so you couldn't tell who was calling. It's okay. Your attention shot back to Cove. He smiled at you awkwardly.
Don't worry about it.
Go check it. Could be important. I'll wait. Thanks. You shuffled forward and scooped the little noisemaker into your hand. You flipped it over and checked the caller ID. It's Miranda. Oh, you should answer it. I want to say hi too. Oh, cute little crab. Well, then Nadia said the call and set it to speaker. Hi, Miranda. Hi. Oh. Oh. What's wrong? There was something off about her tone. Cove met your gaze and you saw the same confusion in his expression.
Have you heard from Terry?
Or did you hear about her from Cove? Huh? No, she hasn't called me, but Cove is with me right now. Hey. Oh, hi, Cove. Is that what you were going to say? He shook his head no, before realizing that it wasn't a good enough answer when one person could actually see it.
No.
Terry hasn't called me today either. Is something wrong? At that, Miranda couldn't hold herself together any longer. The muffled sobs from the other side of the line were unmistakable. Terry doesn't like me anymore, if she ever did. Oh! It's a friend fight here. What? That doesn't sound right. You're probably her best friend out of all of us. Yeah, why do you think that? She sniffled when there was a pause so she could hear her shift the phone to her other hand. Terry was here the other night watching movies with me. We were up super late. She realized her parents probably went to bed, so they couldn't pick her up. My mom and dad were definitely asleep then. Dad works early. I tried telling her it was okay to just spend the night and she could just text her parents what happened, but Terry really didn't want to. He glanced at Cove. He looked equally unsure as you about where the story was going. It didn't sound like a friendship ending situation. I suggested things to make it easier if she was nervous, like she could sleep by herself in my room while I stayed somewhere else. This reminds me of the sleepover with Cove, where Cove just pieced out. Yeah. And I said we didn't have to sleep at all. We could have just kept watching movies until when our parents woke up. I wouldn't have minded. I know not everyone can do sleepovers, but Terry wouldn't even tell me what was really wrong or what I could do to help. I thought we could tell each other anything. I guess I was wrong. Did she stay in the end? No, we got too loud in the kitchen and my dad woke up. He offered to drive her home when he heard what was wrong. She texted me apologizing for my dad having to do what he needed when he needed rest, but that was it. She isn't talking to me anymore. Wait, that's not a fight! You could hear every bit of the tears and heartbreak in Miranda's voice. She's probably asleep! This continued to be shock for your neighbor, but Cove recovered and spoke gently. I'm really sorry.
I mean...
There's no way Terry wanted to make you feel this bad, or that she's just done with your friendship because of this. Miranda's sniffing continued. You hope she had plenty of tissues handy. It'll be okay, I hope Terry's alright. It's really weird that she reacted like that. It's not a big deal, honestly. You weren't sure what to say. I don't know what to say. The thoughts in your head were spinning. This wasn't like Terry, at least not that scene. Your guts churned as you wondered who to worry about more. Miranda's voice sounded a little bit more collected after finishing her story, but you knew that the crime was far from being done. I thought she'd have reached out to one of you by now. Maybe she's not talking to anyone. Yeah. Sorry for bothering you and Cove about this. Apology accepted. Don't worry about it.
Right.
You can tell us things. Thank you. Her shaking voice finally conveyed a little optimism, or at least relief that she wasn't dealing with it entirely on her own.
Is that alright?
If you do hear from her or anything, could you let me know if she's alright? We can. Thanks. Let's talk later, okay? Bye. I think Terry's just asleep. I I think Terry's just asleep, and she didn't want to bug Miranda or her dad about staying way too late. It's kind of odd though, because most parents would be like, "Hey, it's getting late. Do you want me to drive you home back to your place, or do your parents know you're staying over or something?" I don't know. That didn't really seem like an especially productive point to end the call, though you also weren't sure where to go from there. Looking at the Cove, his face seemed as lost as yours. With no alternative, you hung up and put your phone back on your bed. Cove crossed his arms, a frown creasing his face. He began to pace the length of your room, clearly trying to put the pieces together in his head in a way that made sense. You were worried, you felt pretty confident about this working out well. It sounded like trouble to you, you weren't sure how to react. I don't know how to react, to be honest. It was all too sudden and unclear. The empty state of your head before learning this was not helping you now. You couldn't put two thoughts together, and flopping back on your bed, you stared into space. We should probably try calling Terry. Cove's voice managed to drag you back to some grounding. He'd stopped pacing, but you still saw a perturbed look on his face. Is it really something we should get involved with right now? Cove's mouth pressed into a hard line. At the moment, it seemed like the two of you were on very different wavelengths as to how to deal with this. Uh-oh. Are we gonna fight?
Come on.
I want to talk to Cherry. She's my friend too. Well, go talk to her then, Cove. Shit, I'm not stopping you. Fine. Then let's call her. Cove looked away and pulled his phone out. You went over and stood at his side as he was dialing. Cove let it ring and ring and ring and ring and ring. Terry didn't answer. There was even an option to leave a voice message. His shoulders slumped and Cove looked even more troubled, if that was possible. He turned to you as if for some lifeline. Could you try calling? I'm gonna send a text, just like, hey, I was trying to reach you. Call me or something. Yeah. You took up your phone once more. Unfortunately, after another set of interminable rings, the line went dead. No answer, no voicemail. Hanging up, you saw Cove visibly deflate. He rubbed his arms, eyes distant, openly struggling with the whole affair. I don't like this at all. They're fighting. We barely know anything, and we're supposed to just wait and see? I don't know how to handle this kind of situation, to be honest. Because there's a fight between them two. And we only heard Miranda's side. And Terry is not picking up for us to hear her side. Despite it only being a minute since he texted Terry, Cove checked his phone again. He was desperate for progress, for something, and you frowned as you watched him. You needed to try to relax. You're making me anxious. There's no way Terry has answered you. They're gonna get over it, you know. You stayed silent. Telling him to try to relax isn't gonna do anything. Telling him he's making me anxious is just gonna make him feel guilty. There's no way Terry has answered you, will just piss him off. They're gonna get over it, you know? It's gonna piss him off. Should I just stay quiet? Staying quiet is just as bad, too. I don't know. There was nothing you could think to say. All you could do now was hope that Terry was alright. It was up to her to reach back now. Glancing your own phone in vain, you considered sending a text message too, if that would even help. This was making you feel all twisted up. You could see the same sort of discomfort in Cove's face. There was something consoling in that, at least. Words drifted from his mouth like a feeble breeze. It'll be fine. It's gonna be okay. Yeah. You can hear in both of your voices how much you wanted to give and receive reassurance. You try to believe the sentiments, weak as they were. Shall we?
Well,
what do we even say if we do hear from one of them? His pacing resumed as he attempted to answer his own question. We should probably tell them to talk to each other instead of only us, maybe. You slowly came to another halt, a gear winding down. We should find out Terry's side of the story. We should just come from Miranda and let it... Terry, I don't know. We should only tell them to work it out between themselves, that's it. I wonder why you always had to come up with things. You didn't say anything. We should find out Terry's side of the story. Nothing could be done until you knew what she thought of this. That much was certain. Cove nodded, slightly in agreement. For several minutes, you both remained there in silence, jotting your thoughts. Eventually, Cove turned around. I'm gonna text Terry that we already know what's going on. Maybe she'll have an easier time talking to us because she won't have to pretend or explain. That might be the only way to get her attention. You can't do that. Miranda didn't say it was her right to admit that she talked to us. You felt way too overwhelmed to know what to say next. I think you're pushing too much. That's not a good idea, Cove. Not at all. Why are you so fixated on this? He's fixated on this because they're our friends. But like, I don't think I think it's a problem that those two have to deal with. It's not a situation we should put ourselves into unless they ask for our input. At least that's how I feel. Because if I had two friends that were arguing with each other and only one friend has contacted me about it, I don't want to just side with that one friend. I would want to hear from both of their sides before I can say anything. And that's if they want to hear my input. Because it's not my problem. And I'm pretty sure they don't want other people interjecting into their drama. Unless, again, they ask for our input. This is probably where Cove and I are going to fight. Why are you so fixated on this? You can see Cove tightened the grip on his phone out the corner of your eye. You wondered if he was even aware of it. Maybe not, with the way he was glaring at you. I don't want my friends to stop being friends. I understand that, Cove, but it's... You both stood there staring at each other for several beats. At this rate, you're gonna push people away? Alright, I understand. Fighting makes you nervous. We're not gonna lose our friends. Just because you don't like what's happening, that doesn't mean you get to act like this. You nod reassuringly, not wanting to argue the point anymore. You didn't say anything. We're not going to lose our friends? The only way we're gonna lose them is if they don't make up. But that's not our problem, again. Unless they ask for it. We're not gonna lose our friends. At that, you could see the fear and worry shining in his eyes. People fight, but that doesn't mean it's not gonna ever get better. He nodded, but it didn't reach his eyes. A small noise escalated his lips. All the frustration at the situation crumbled away from his face, and he spoke softly. Thanks, Michiko. I'm glad it's not just me with all this happening. Cove took one last look at his phone and then put it away. His effort at a smile was meager but earnest.
It's okay.
We can just forget about it for a while. Terry will talk to us when she wants to. He smiled just a little bit. Finally. That sounds good to me. I'd like to be alone for a while. Could you leave and simply not back? I would just, nod. There was a part of you that worried it wouldn't be long before Cove pulled his phone out again, but you were relieved that he had put it away. The last thing you wanted was to fight with him, especially over this. Taking a deep breath in and out, you were thankful for progress of some sorts. Thank God! I didn't want to deal with the argument with him. The sun stretched on in what felt like hours, but it likely wasn't that long before there was a knock at your bedroom door and Mom peeked in. Just want to check in on you. Oh, Cove, when did you get here? Right, when did you get here? When she saw your morose expression, she opened the door out of the way, and the question was dropped. Ma was standing there as well. She slipped past her wife to come inside her space.
Everything okay?
What's with the long faces? Are you both okay? We're okay. Your body language could not have contradicted you more strongly, and you knew it. You couldn't even lift your eyes off the floor as though the weight of your worry was dragging your head down. Miranda called earlier. She and Terry were fighting, but none of us know what's going on with Terry. Your parents exchanged a meaningful look, though its meaning was lost on you.
I'm so sorry.
To hear there's trouble with your friends, sweetie. Is there anything we can do to help? Out of the corner of your eye, you saw Cove rub his arm awkwardly, unable to add anything. No, we're just waiting to see if Terry calls or texts, or if Miranda does.
Yeah.
Another great idea, Lonnie. We can get the whole gang together for some quality time. Mom gave you a soft smile and added, this will be good, especially since it might help make up for what happened at the farmer's market. Yes, it'll be wonderful. I'll go see what Liz is up to right now. Excited, she fluttered a few steps away and then stopped. She pivoted on her heel and raised a single finger, flashing a big smile at Cove.
It's no trouble.
And of course, Cliff will be welcome too. Knowing your family was always there for you, that couldn't be underestimated. In fact, it meant everything to you that your mom cared so much. Thanks, Mom. Yeah, thanks. That's nice of you.
You're welcome.
You're both very welcome. Don't sweat it. Not so, kiddos. Leave things to us. Just relax and we'll call you when it's all together. You nod at your mom's dispersed for now, springing into action for their impromptu get-together. You flop down on your bed, feeling like you could sink into it and disappear. Cove, meanwhile, took a spot on a chair off to the side. You sighed at the same time, and Cove's mouth pulled into a bent smile at that. He gave his phone another quick check and his eyebrows furrowed. Still nothing. Yep, this is crap, huh? Yep. Cove chewed the inside of his cheek as if to mimic the stress that was clearly eating away at him. Cove, what's wrong? What's really wrong? When disagreement doesn't make you act like this. Yeah, fam, do you like Terry? Because they're so really arguing now, huh? That got a pointed pause in his movement. Cove was carefully trying to put his thoughts together. He spoke in a fragile voice. When people you care about, when they're unhappy with each other, there's nothing you can do. At least when you're fighting, you're in a fight yourself. You have some responsibility, some control over it all. I wish...
So...
It didn't have to happen, but that isn't possible, so oh well, I guess. His attempt at giving a nonchalant shrug after that was pitiable? Yeah, it makes me feel over too. True, but you're right that it can't be helped. It's whatever. Other people can do what they want, right? You stay silent. True, but you're right that it can't be helped.
I know.
He replied that like he could barely muster strength to speak. Well, we just had to focus on things we can impact, or at least try. You turned to Cove, hoping your eyes conveyed the message you were feeling better than your words. His gentle nod told you that they did. There was a question you had to ask. Is it because of what happened with your parents? Cove ran a hand through his hair, a strange smile spreading across his lips. For him, this pain struck close to his heart. Just as quickly as it had come, his smile was gone, long amidst his faraway gaze. Yeah, you got it. It's like my parents. Oh, so this is why he's so, like, sensitive about it. Damn, well, I'm over here being insensitive. For once in my life, I'm not too emotional over something. Despite knowing him for so many years, Cove had never spoken of the year before he moved to Sunset Bird, before his parents separated in any detail. He whispered his thoughts distantly, almost unconcerned with whether you could hear them or not. They used to fight all the time. I think they got along when I was a baby. I mean, they had to have wanted to be with each other at some point, but when I was old enough to remember anything, it was already bad. There was always something wrong and I could never help. I just wanted them to be happy. You try to imagine your mom's breaking up, and the very idea scared you, but Cove had endured that for real. I'm sorry.
Michiko. Don't worry about it.
Despite that revelation, Cove gazed reassuringly at you. It's not like that anymore. Things are so different now. I don't even really think about it. Again, the star reasserted itself. When he continued, you could barely hear him. Though I guess it's pretty obvious I haven't forgotten either. You tried to smile for him. You crossed the room and took his hand. You went over and placed a hand on his shoulder. You hugged him. Yo, I'm taking it. I want to hug him, but I want to take his hand. I think taking his hand is more romantic. I think. Let's take his hand. He shot up out of his seat as you approached, but didn't resist as you gently took his hand. Your head fell to his shoulder and you squeezed his hand reassuringly. You saw him watching you with glossy eyes. Oh, Cove. Cove, you're so cute. Please don't cry. And Cove sighed contentedly, his mouth pulling into a soft smile. Wordlessly, you knew that he understood. You felt at peace with him there. When he gripped your hand back, you knew that he felt it too. The two of you took a seat again, but this time side by side in your bed.
Today
was a lot, huh? Yeah, it was. You sat there contently, you leaned against him. No, I'm leaning against him. Resting the side of your head onto his shoulder, you glanced up at his face. Cove watched you affectionately. In that gentle gaze, you finally felt like everything was going to be okay. No matter what happens, we can make it work. I feel like we're like breaking up or something. Like we're breaking up and getting back together, but we've never officially dated. His mouth fell into a thin smile at that. You chuckled, resting your head comfortably back on his shoulder.
Me too.
And for a while you stayed like that. Comfortable quiet fell between you, and the sun fell with it. The warming calm ended when Cove gasped sharply. He spun, half expecting to find him nursing an injury, but instead found him staring straight ahead. What? The phone?
Oh my god.
I think my phone just vibrated. Well, you better find out if it did. Right. He patted his pockets, fumbling in his panic. Fumbling in his panic and yanked the phone out. The force of the action nearly catapulted the device out of his grip entirely, but he caught it just in time. His eyes honed in on the screen. It's Terry, thank God. She says she's sorry. He looked back at you, eyes wide as his nerves started to fray once more. What should I say? I don't know, give it a second. I need to think. Tell her to call us. Ask her what's going on. Ask her she's talking to Miranda. He clammed up. Ask her what's going on. Okay. He flashed you a shaky smile as he began to type. He suspected that he had similar thoughts himself, but wanted the reassurance of a second opinion. His phone buzzed nearly as soon as the message was sent. That's Terry again. She's talking to us. He leaned in, watching the conversation unfold on Cove's screen. She's gonna actually call. Cove held his breath as he waited. Though he was good with people, he had never been at ease managing conflict. His phone rang out. Cove jammed the answer button, his reflexes instantaneously. He switched the phone to speaker mode, allowing you to participate in the conversation. But despite his immediate reaction, his voice lacked the same resolve when he spoke. Hey! It was tentative, a white flag fluttering in the wind. Michiko's here too. Hey, Terry.
Hey.
Hey, buddies. Terry's voice was barely recognizable without her usual quick patter and energy.
Are you okay?
I don't know, probably not. Cove tense, his free hand coiling into an anxious fist. Can you talk to us about what happened? You heard Terry sigh over the phone as she burdened herself. Unburdened herself? Yeah. Pretty much I was at Randy's house. We decided to watch some movies she's just super liked that I'd never seen before. Turns out there's a lot of those. We watched one, then another, and another. We were having so much fun. Each time one finished, she had another one to share with me. I didn't really think about the time. I only wanted to say yes to Randy and watch her movies. She spoke wistfully, but her words were full of affection. It was Randy, you know? I wasn't thinking about my schedule or what time it was. Totally. Then I finally saw the time, and oh no, it was way too late. I already knew I couldn't stay. She took a deep breath, her voice becoming softer when she resumed her talking. I was so stressed out, I just couldn't deal with it. Miranda wanted to help. She kept coming up with ways to make it better and trying to figure out why I was so upset and stuff. I was trying to answer her questions, and there were so many, but I couldn't really answer all of them. I didn't even know why some of her ideas didn't work with me. It made my head ache. I still had the first part of Randy there. Trying to help, blasting all these questions and suggestions at me faster than I could even think. She gulped audibly, sniffling. I got frustrated and told her to just leave me alone. But then she wanted to talk about why I wanted that. And we started having a fight in the kitchen. It woke Randy's dad up. Oh. So that's why. Okay. We told him about how I wanted to go home, but my parents couldn't get me, so Mr. Eckert offered to do it. Problem solved? No, I mean, yes, kinda, but I accepted because I definitely couldn't stay then, not after throwing a racket and turning into a big deal. But I feel awful and embarrassed. Why did I yell at Randy and hurt her feelings? And I made her dad lose sleep by waking him up and having to drive me home. What do you say after that? I have no idea. I don't know where to start, and I don't want to make it worse by saying the wrong thing and fighting again. So I'm not talking. Oh, that just, not talking at all will just solve everything, right? I don't think so. Terry, Randy isn't mad that you didn't want to stay or that you fought. She just wants to feel like you can talk to her. I mean, you can say whatever you want. She'll listen. Not talking to her at all is pretty much the only wrong way to go about it. Terry lamented mournfully on the other end of the line, but he had a point. Unless she faced Miranda again, there would be no resolution. He looked at Cove, hunched over the phone, staring pensively into it and searching for a solution. This couldn't be solved with the other key party missing, but what if you brought them in? Your phone was still free. You suggest us calling Miranda. I'm not gonna just be calling her without telling them. Oh shit. I've got an idea. What if we called Miranda on my phone? Cove and I could make sure your conversation didn't fall off the rails. Cove brightened up, the concern furrowed his brows, which had taken root when Miranda first called eased.
Well,
that could work. Terry up for it? She made a noise that wasn't a word, but nevertheless conveyed her hesitation and worry. But she brought it to a close with a decisive exhalation, as if pushing all negative thoughts from her body. Alright, I'll do it. Cove nodded. Now that you receive approval from everyone, you pulled out your phone and called Miranda. You set it as a speaker and waited for her to pick up. Luckily, she did. Hi, Michiko. Her voice was still distant, as if her thoughts were elsewhere, but it was loud enough for your needs. Hi, you're on speaker. Terry's on speaker too, on Cove's phone. Oh. She paused while she digested this information. You watched the phone screen, hoping that she wouldn't hang up as a result.
Really?
Yep, it's really me. Can you hear my voice all the way from your house to theirs and then mine? I can. You and Cove exchanged looks, waiting for the wall between them to break and wondering who would be the one to do it. As the quiet dragged on, you caught Cove chewing his cheek. He must have weighed up the same question as you, whether to encourage the conversation along or leave Miranda and Terry to resolve it themselves. The answer came in form of one sniff, followed by another from Cove's phone. Sorry, Randy. I hope you still like me. What? You were the one acting as if you didn't like me. Her tone was defensive, no doubt as a result of her wounds from last night still being raw.
What?
No way! Everyone likes Randy. You're wonderful. Your eyes met Cove's. His phone was tilted towards you, capturing the call indirectly. You moved your phone closer to his, hoping that the signal was strong enough to convey their every nuance of tone. Cove did likewise, bringing his cell right next to yours, even bumping against it as he shifted his grip. I didn't know what to say. That's the only reason I wouldn't talk to you. If I had known the answer, I'd have told you right away. Miranda murmured on the other end of the line. You didn't want to stay? Anything I tried to do bothered you? And you could have told me you didn't know. Yeah, I think I was angry at myself. I did a dumb thing and I didn't want to help with it. I wanted to be mad and just deal with it myself. It made me keep doing dumb things. Oh. When we spoke again, her voice was quiet, as tender and vulnerable as the words.
I'm sorry.
Staying up late watching stuff was all my fault. I had to find a way to fix it. That's what I thought anyway. But I should have given you space. I'm sorry for being so pushy and sensitive. Hardly. Miranda Eckert having a flaw? I've never heard of such a crazy thing. Miranda let out a ghost of a giggle. Cove cleared his throat. Maybe you should call each other now? Sorry.
Sure.
Can do. Thanks for giving me the kick in the butt to do this already. Randy, Mandy, I'm gonna call you right now. Bye, Michiko and Cove. She hung up after squeezing in another quick bye, though not giving you or Cove room to respond in kind. Miranda laughed, the noise tinkling gently like wind chimes in a summer breeze.
You're really nice.
Thank you for listening and helping. I'm gonna hang up now so I can answer Terry's call. Bye. Bye and good luck. You got this. Oh, problem solved, Cove. There we go. Our whole entire afternoon gone. Miranda hung up, still chuckling softly to call end. The room felt emptier without the other voices in it. Cove expelled a sigh that crashed through the newly fallen silence. He dropped his arms to his sides, letting his head hang down like a puppet at rest. Thank God. They shouldn't have involved us in that. I'm so relieved it's okay. You're simply happy your friends had made up. The day's events had drained you. You're content now that Cove seemed at ease again. I think I'll be happy that because Cove's at ease again. Because, you know, I was really taking this like a champ, like not really caring. Because, again, it's our friends. They need to make up themselves. Unless, again, they need our input and stuff. Cove scratched at his face, his expression cloudy. I think I need to find better ways for dealing with conflict because that was awful. We could all probably do better at that. I think you did okay given the circumstances. Yeah, I think that would help. You didn't comment? I think we did okay. Cove meekly smiled as he rubbed out his eyes, weariness creeping over him, and mumbled his next words. We can talk about it another day. Conflict resolution methods?
Huh?
Oh no, forget it. Your eyebrows rose and then a light bulb went off in your head. Before Miranda called, didn't you say there was something you'd wanted to say? Cove's original visit had been thrown off, so off-kilter, that it was a struggle to wind your memory back to when he first turned up. Now you did, though. You remember that he had been perky when he'd arrived this afternoon. Was it good news? Cove brushed his hands against how folded his arms brushed his hands against his now folded arms shyly. Well, yeah, maybe. I'm not exactly sure it counts as news or even good. It just is what it is. I'm happy about it, though. Come on, no more hints. You gotta tell me now. Cove chuckled awkwardly, a hand creeping up to ruffle the hair on the back of his head. It's fine. If you want to hear, I can tell you. Of course I want to hear. What the heck? He shifted on his feet as if a different posture might give him the support you needed for the conversation. I didn't want to make it a big deal, but I kind of, well, not kind of. I just know what my sexuality is now. Cove! That is great news! What? Oh! A real subject change, huh? Yes, a more refreshing one, besides drama. He chuckled. True, it was unexpected, but you're excited that Cove had come to understand himself more, and glad he wanted to share that with you. That's great. Tell me. Cove drew a breath, straightening up. I'm demisexual, so you know, most of the time I don't really have those kind of feelings, physical ones and stuff. That's what my brother is. It's only in some situations when I'm already... Sorry, I probably just blasted my brother. It's only in some situations when I'm already really emotionally and romantically connected with someone that I start to ever think about anything sexual, and it's only with them. I hadn't heard the term until pretty recently, and it just made a lot of sense. Once I knew what it meant, I had a word that fit how I felt.
Yeah.
And I'm pan-romantic, because I've never had a preference for a specific gender or anything, so yeah. It makes sense. Cove looked down at the floor, being so open and direct about a matter that personal, which you were sure he'd spent a long time trying to figure out, seemed to be kind of weird for him. I'm so proud of Cove! Despite that, there was a small proud smile on his face, and when he looked up again, his gaze was steadfast. All this talk of Cove's sexuality made you reflect about your own. Your feelings on yours hadn't wavered, your views had evolved since you were younger? Dude, I don't even remember what the fuck I said in the past. What? Well, I'm assuming it hasn't wavered. Cove had known for years now. It was heartwarming that he had reached a point where he felt similar capable of discussing his own. You felt even closer. You felt his tiredness deep in the marrow of your bones. It had been a trying day. Now everything was neatly wrapped up, for today at least, and he had earned a rest. You had some good talks and come out of it not only knowing each other better, but yourself too.
Hey.
We should probably head downstairs soon if your moms are still wanting everyone to get together. Yeah, that's right. Bro, we are never gonna be able to date Cove. I should have said we were boyfriend and girlfriend in the beginning, but I was really hoping somewhere along the line he would ask, since like I made him so straightforward in his like actions. I'm gonna be forever single, but massively in love with the guy. With a renewed spring in your step, you led the way out of your room. You got downstairs to find the others already assembled and waiting.
Hi.
Hello. Hey. Good to see you both.
Hey.
Here we are, or sorry, here we were, trying to corral everyone into a group. The two of you were already upstairs this whole time. Of course we were together. You paid me Chico to stick with me, or did you forget? Did you forget? I love how he uses it as a joke now. The statement was meaningless to your family, who looked to each other for answers in vain. Mr. Holden, who got the message loud and clear, seemed embarrassed. He chuckled nervously, rubbing the back of his neck. Ouch, son. You always know when to remind me of that one. I can't let you live it down yet. Can we hear exactly what the secret is? The suspense is killing us.
Right.
Alright. I'd better get everyone up to speed. He held up his hands, palm out, pacifying his audience, or perhaps holding them up as a shield in advance. The first day I met Michiko, I'd been worrying about Cove being alone for the summer.
Well.
There weren't a lot of kids around, and he wasn't exactly on the best terms with me at the time. I glanced around your family, gauging their responses. I felt like this was my one shot, so I kind of offered her $20 to be friends with Cove, and added that she couldn't tell him about it. Liz gasped. Mom was staring incredulously at Mr. Holden while Mom's eyebrow had retreated to her hairline. You and Cove, already knowing the story, were the ones unaffected. But after a while, I really did honestly forget it even happened. He raised his hands higher, now level with his shoulders. Not a bad idea, you thought. If Mom felt inclined to throw a cushion at him, he probably managed to block it in time. I know that's bad, but I've had so many grand ideas over the years, it's hard to keep track of them all. Cove smiled, placing his hand on his hips and shaking his head at his father's antics.
Seriously?
I can't believe you, though I totally can. Your moms were less indulgent. The shock had ebbed away to displeasure. Mom's foot was tapping rapidly. She frowned at the next door neighbor, while Mom had her arms crossed over her chest and her lips pursed. I'm sorry, Michiko, and I'm sorry to your parents too. That was way out of bounds. Don't worry about it. Everything worked out. Your moms gave each other that look, where they seemed to communicate with eyes alone. Hey, can I input that I did not take that $20? Moms, I did not take those $20. Alright, well, that's that then, and it won't happen again.
Absolutely.
It definitely won't.
Alright.
Good. It was a little surprising that they were letting him off the hook, but on the other hand, it was a long time ago now, and you were sure your moms remembered those painful early days of Cove's arrival too. Mr. Holden wasn't a potential bad influence anymore, so a lecture would be pretty moot. Instead, your mom gave him a lenient smile.
In that case,
Now that it's settled, why don't we find something to do? Now, Disagreement cascaded through the group in a couple ways at the suggestion. Mr. Holden's shoulders slumped with a release of tension. He brought his hands down, tucking them away into his pockets. How about cards? There were murmurs of interest from the others. You were keen to play, that was fine with you. You played along with the others. You didn't really want to play cards. That was fine with you. I don't care. Most of the group was eager to play, but Mr. Holden was demurring. I think I'll sit this one out. Where's the fun in that? Join in. We're not too angry with you. Yes, and I know there are lots of people, but we can make it work. Mr. Holden shrunk into himself, embarrassed by their attention. Dad, you love playing cards. We do it at our house all the time. Dad? Mr. Holden broke under the combined force of everyone's attention. Cove, you're an adult now. You deserve to know the truth. I used to throw the card games so you could win. I put up a good fight, but I always made sure to lose a lot more rounds than I won. He toyed with the end of his ponytail, clearly distressed at the secret he was revealing today. I know people want to be taken seriously and fake wins don't mean as much, but I couldn't help myself. It's so much better when everyone else got the chance to be victorious. Kyra knew and went along with it. Cove laughed in disbelief that this was the thing his dad stressed about hiding after the other stunts he pulled over the years. So what? Lots of parents do that. I hadn't guessed it, sure. Though looking back at it, makes sense. That's right. What's the big deal, Cliff? You can finally take the kids' gloves off and give them a run for their money. Maybe even actual money in your case. Liz! Mr. Holden smiled coyly, his gaze lowering. I'm not sure that's a good idea.
why?
Why not? He waved his hands expansively, the movements fluid and vague. It's just usually, actually, I am something of a card shark. I used to make lots of fast cash off games. Casual players don't have a shot unless it's a game of pure luck. Cove's jaw hung open, his eyes wide, his wide eyes fixed on his father. Really? There was a touch of amazement, even admiration, nestled among the shock. The other members of the Melody family exchanged looks, ranging from Liz's disbelief to Mom's intrigue, and with Ma somewhere in the middle between the two. You can't simply make a claim like that and expect us to go along with it. Let's see you back it up, Shark Man. Mr. Holden gave her a crooked smile. His okay. Quickly began to replace the confidence of someone very skilled and very misguided. You sure about that? Definitely. We've got to see the so-called non-casual player in action. Well, I might be able, though who knows, maybe I've gotten rusty. His coyness continued to rile the gang up. He was getting a kick out of it now.
Please?
Come on, please.
Alright.
I can dust off the old tricks. Don't go easy on us. Cove beamed at his father while Mom clapped Mr. Holden on the back. Liz started off to get a deck of cards while the rest of you settled in for the game. Okay. I suck at card games, so hands were dealt. Mr. Holden wasted no time proving his words true, wiping the floor with all of you. He played several rounds, even switching games, but none of you were a match for him. That was how the alliance came to be forged. The rest of you joined forces against Mr. Holden only just to try increasing the odds of beating him. With your combined efforts, you pulled out a few victories, yet it was still a challenge. He was clearly a professional. And these were his skills now, resting with disuse. You couldn't even imagine what a deadly opponent he had been in the past. Despite that, you still had fun. Working cooperatively actually fostered a sense of camaraderie with others. Mr. Holden didn't appear fazed by this strategy. He actually wondered whether the increased challenge made it more interesting for him. We spent the rest of the afternoon together with family and the Holdens, having fun. It was an interesting evening for sure, with many discoveries for everyone. It was freeing, and yet simultaneously you felt more tied together than you had been before. That is so cute! We only have 2 stories left. And then we have to wait for the DLCs for step 3. And then wait again for step 4. For the final step of possible marriage. Maybe. I don't fucking know, because your girl is not dating Cove yet. I really, really hope somewhere down the line, probably I just had to force it in step 4 that we're already dating. Which sucks, because I really wanted to see Cove confess. Because I highly doubt they will put him confessing in a DLC. Because that would be unfair for the ones that didn't get the DLC. Cove, come on. Cove, where you at? But anyway, this is where we're going to end today's episode off. The next 2 are going to be Charity and Drive. And then I will have to see you guys, hopefully, in the future with blonde hair. So that way we are matching with our step 4 character that will keep blonde hair. But thank you guys for watching. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys